Hello everyone. In this session, let me continue the few more problem on secant method. Here I have a question. Use secant method to find the real root of the equation cos x minus x into e power of x is equal to 0 in the interval 0, 1 and perform 3 iterations given. But remember, before starting with the problem, you have to look at the given equation. Clearly, we have a trigonometric function cos here. So first we have to change the mode of the calculator. I have already told you a number of times. See, it is visible, right? So mode is here. You have to press it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, change the mode of the calculator. Here you have a radian option, so press 2. Your calculator will be changed to radian. So the minute it is changed, you will get R symbol here. It might not be visible in the camera. You just go through that. Once you change the mode of a calculator while solving trigonometric function, R should be there. Fine. Now let me start with the procedure. First step, we have to take the given function as f of x. So let me rewrite the problem. F of x is equal to cos x into x e power of x. Now, hope so you remember the secant formula. It is given by xn plus 1 is equal to xn minus xn minus 1 divided by f of xn minus f of xn minus 1 into f of xn. You have already solved these problems in the previous session. Anyhow, let me repeat. Now, they have asked us to perform 3 iterations. In the sense, as I already told you, for the first iteration, we have to take the value of n is equal to 1. Now, before starting with the iteration, you have to make sure that whether the initial values are given in the problem or not. Now, in this particular problem, they have asked us to find the root in this particular interval. In the sense, interval is given here itself. So, we have to take x0 as 0 and x1 as 1. So, let me write down the given data. x0 is given to us. So, x0 is equal to 0 and x1 is equal to 1. Fine. Now I have to substitute the value of n is equal to 1 in the given formula, so that you will get, replace n is equal to 1, you will get x2 is equal to x1 minus x0 divided by f of x1 minus f of x0 into f of x1. N is equal to 1. Remember, the only change here in this problem is we have a trigonometric function. Remember, whatever may be the method, either in bisection formula or in Newton-Raphson formula or in secant method, you have to change the mode of a calculator as I already showed. Now, I have obtained the value of x0 and x1. Now, we have to calculate f of x1 and f of x0. So, let me do that. F of x1. So wherever x1 is there, x is there in a given problem, we have to replace it with 1. Fine. So let me do that. When you're going to change, you will get cos 1 minus 1 into e power of 1. Now, while doing the previous problem, I told you clearly, in order to calculate the exponential value, that is e power of 1, you need to type it as e1 in the calculator. If you're going to type e cap 1, it will show you syntax error. So observe the calculator carefully. See here, cos 1 minus 1 into e power of 1 I have. Anyhow, 1 you multiply with any number, you will get back the same. So 1 into e power of 1 will be e power of 1. So I need to calculate the value of cos of 1 minus e power of 1. So see here, first I have changed the mode of a calculator to radian as already shown earlier. Now press cos button, open the bracket, put 1 there, close bracket, minus. Now you have e power of 1. So as I already told you, when you have to do e power of 1, you have to look at the calculator. You have a symbol ln here. So just above ln, you will clearly see e there. So press the shift button, press ln button, you will get e. Clear? Press shift button, press ln button, you will get e. Clear? Now e power of 1 I have. So I cannot type cap for e. As you get syntax error, you have to press 1. So when you type e1, it shows e power of 1. Press equal sign. So that's all. So obtained value, let me write minus 2.1779. I'll repeat it once again. In order to calculate this, first change the mode of a calculator to radian. Once you change that, calculate the value as I'm showing you. Press cos, open the bracket, press 1, close bracket, minus. Since you have to type e, right? So press shift button, press ln button, you will get e. Now e power of 1 in the sense cap, it doesn't work, so it will show you syntax error. If you want, you can cross check. So e power of 1 I need, so you have to type e1. So the minute when you type e1, it is understood it is e power of 1. Clear? Press equal button, you will get the solution. Make a note of that. Clear? Now I have obtained f of x1 value. Let me calculate f of x naught. X naught in the sense 0. I have to replace x with 0. So that is what I'm going to do. Cos of 0 minus 0 into anything will be 0, no matter. So leave it. So I have to find the value of cos 0. I know you may not remember the values of sine and cos, right? Not a problem. Then also you can calculate using the calculator. See here, cos of open bracket 0 close bracket plus equals. It will show you the value. It is 1. Fine. Once you obtain all the value, you just substitute in the iteration formula. You will get x2 is equal to x1 is 1 minus x1 is 1 minus x naught is 0 divided by f of x1 is minus 2.1779 minus f of x naught value is 1 into f of x1 value is minus 2.1779. So as I already showed you n number of times, you just observe the way of calculation. You have numerator 1 minus 0. Fine. 1 minus 0 is 1. When you're going to multiply 1 with this, you will get back the same. So I'm going to shift only sign of the numerator to here. Remember, either you can shift or else you can, if you want, you can rewrite as it is. Let me write one more step. I'll keep 1 as it is. 1 minus, I am going to multiply this. Anyhow, 1 into this value, you are going to get the same value. So minus 2.1779 divided by, let me write the denominator as it is. Clear? Now let me simplify. See here, first I am going to simplify this expression along with the sign. Minus 2.1779 divided by, since you have two terms in the denominator, so you have to open the bracket. Now minus 2.1779 minus 1, close the bracket. That will give us the value. Fine, that is the value of only this term. Anyhow, we have to subtract it from 1. So as I already told in the previous session, first press 1 minus, now you have to subtract this answer. So here you have an answer button, press answer button, equals. That will give us the value 0.31467. Fine. So this is the value of x2. This complete first iteration. Now we have to do the same for 3 iterations. So let me do the second iteration. So for the second iteration, the value of n should be taken as 2. So in the formula, replace n with 2. So if that was the case, I am going to get x3 is equal to x2 minus x1 divided by f of x2 minus f of x1 into f of x2. Clear? Now, however, I have obtained x2 value in the previous iteration. I have to find f of x2. F of x1 is also known to us. So let me write directly f of x1 as I had done that in the first iteration. It is minus 2.1779. Now let us calculate f of x2 value. That is, f of x2 value is 0.31467. Clear? So wherever x is there, replace it with 0.31467. So let me do that. Cos of 0.31467 close bracket minus, now you have x into e power of x, again bracket, open the bracket, x is none other than 0.31467 exponential, right? Shift ln 0.31467 close bracket plus equal sign. That will give us 0.519861. Clear? Now I have obtained f of x2 value. Substitution will give us x3 is equal to x2 value is 0.31467 minus again x2 0.31467 minus x1 value is, here I have x1 is 1. So it is given in the problem itself, divided by f of x2 is 0.51861 minus f of x1 is minus of minus will become plus. So 2.1779 into f of x2 value is again 0.519861. Clear? Now simplification part. First let me simplify numerator. 0.31467 minus 1. Fine. Divided by open bracket 0.519861 plus 2.1779. close the bracket, equals, multiply it with 0.519861. Fine. Now I have to subtract all answer from the given value. It is 0.31467 minus answer. That will give us 0.44673. So the value of x3 is 0.44673. Or else instead of taking all the digits, so let me take 4 digits. So that is what the second iteration is. Now we have asked us to find up to 3 iterations. So let me do third iteration. So for third iteration, the value of n will be equal to 3. So let me substitute n is equal to 3 in a formula, secant formula. So you will get x4 is equal to x3 minus x2 divided by f of x3 minus f of x2 into f of x3. Here just replace n is equal to 3 in the secant formula, you will get this. Anyhow, x3 value is known to us, x2 is also known to us from the previous iterations. F of x2 is known to us, so let me write f of x2. I have written here 0.519861. I have to calculate f of x3 value. So x3 is f of 0.4467. So let me calculate. So replacing x with 0.4467, you will get cos of 0.44 cos of 0.4467 minus open bracket 0.4467 shift exponential 0.4467. So that will give us 0.2036. 0.2036. So f of x3 value I have obtained. Now with all these value, let me substitute in x4. x3 is 0.4467 into 0 minus 0.4467 minus x2 value is 0.31467 divided by f of x3 is 0.2036 minus f of x2 is 0.59861 into again f of x3 is 0.2036. Now let me simplify this. First I am going to simplify the term. 0.4467 minus 0.31467. So numerator divided by 0.2036 minus 0.519861 into 0.2036. Clear? Now I have to subtract it from 0.4467 minus answer. That will give us 0.53169. So x4 value is 0.53169. So this is the, we have asked us to find only up to 3 iteration in the given problem. So let me stop here itself. Therefore I can write, therefore the required root is 0.53169. I'm just repeating it once again. First step is same. First you have to change the mode of a calculator from degree to radian as I already explained. So similarly I have to write the formula. First iteration n is equal to 1, just the substitution. Again for n is equal to 2, second iteration. For n is equal to 3, third iteration. Only thing is you have to change at the mode of a calculator. Hope it is clear. Now the next problem is we have to use the secant method to find the root of the equation x cube minus 9x plus 1 is equal to 0 in the interval 0, 1, and we have to perform 3 iterations. Fine. So now let me do this. First step, as usual, we have to take the given function as f of x cube minus 9x plus 1. Fine. Since the interval is given in the problem itself, so I have to take x naught as 0 and x1 as 1. Clear? Now let me write the formula. Xn plus 1 is equal to secant formula xn minus xn minus 1 divided by f of xn minus f of xn minus 1 into f of xn. This is what the formula for secant method is. Now we have asked us to find up to 3 iteration. Procedure is same. Let me do first iteration. For the first iteration you have to take n is equal to 1. So substitute n is equal to 1. You will get x2 is equal to x1 minus x naught divided by f of x1 minus f of x naught into f of x1. Fine. Now our x2 will be equal to x1 value is already known to us. Let me substitute. Before going to that, let me simplify f of x1 value. So I'll do here f of x1 is none other than x1 value is 1, x0 is 0. So wherever x is there, replace it with 1 in a given problem. So you will get 1 cube minus 9 into 1 plus 1. So with this f of 1 will become minus 7. Similarly, f of x0, wherever x is there, replace it with x0 is 0. Fine. So when you do that, you will get 1. So let me substitute. x1 is 1 minus x0 is 0 divided by f of x1 is minus 7 minus f of x0 is 1 into f of x1 is minus 7. Now the simplification. Minus 7 minus 1 is minus 8. So you will get 7 minus get cancelled, 7 by 8. So you will get 1 minus 7 divided by 8. That will give us 0.125. So the value of x2 is 0.125. Now let me do the second iteration. Now similarly for second iteration, I have to take n as 2. So let me take n is equal to 2. Substitute in the secant formula, you will get x3 is equal to x2 minus x1 divided by f of x2 minus f of x1 into f of x2. Clear? Now x2 I have already done 0.125. Now I have to calculate f of x1 is also done, right? So here I have. So let me write once again. F of x1 is minus 7. I have already calculated it. F of x2 I have to calculate. In the sense f of 0.125 I have to calculate. Let me do that. So x with 0.125 I am going to replace. 0.125 whole cube minus 9 into 0.125 plus 1. So that will give us minus 0.12 minus 0.1230. Fine. So this is what the solution I have. Now let me substitute the values. x2 is 0.125 minus 0.125 minus x1 is 1. I have already done that. F of x2 is minus 0.1230 minus f of x1 is minus 7. Minus of minus will become plus 7. Again f of x2 is minus 0.1230. Fine. Now let me use calculator. 0.125 minus 1 numerator value divided by minus 0.1230 plus 7 into minus 0.1230. So I have to subtract everything from 0.125 minus answer. That will give us 0.10935. So the value of x3 is this. Now we have to find up to third iteration, right? So let me do third iteration. So for third iteration, I have to take n as 3. So when you are going to substitute n is equal to 3 in the secant formula, you will get x4 is equal to x3 minus x2 divided by f of x3 minus f of x2 into f of x3. Clear? Now anyhow I have already obtained x3 and x2. We have to calculate f of x2 also there. F of x2 from the previous iteration I have done this minus 0.1230. I have to calculate f of x3 value. Wherever x is there, replace it with 0.10935. That is x3 value. Fine. So x cube minus in place of f of x. F of x is given here x cube minus 9x plus 1. So I am doing x with let me replace 0.10935 whole cube minus 9 into 0.10935 plus 1. So that will give us 0.01715 f of x3 value. Fine. Now let me substitute here. X3 value, it is obtained from a previous iteration. It is 0.10935 minus x3 is 0.10935 minus x2 is 0.125 divided by f of x3 0.01715 minus f of x2 is minus of minus will become plus 0.1230. F of x3 is again 0.01715. Clear? Now let me calculate 0.10935 minus 0.125 divided by 0.01715 plus 0.1230 into 0.01715. I have to subtract all from 0.10935 minus answer. That will give us 0.109382. So x4 value is 0.109382. So this is the required solution up to third iteration, because they have asked us to find third iteration. So I have done for third iteration, therefore you have to write the conclusion. Therefore the required root is from, I think it is clear for you. Now let me solve last problem in this session, and if you have any doubt you can free to ask me. So this will be the last problem in secant method, and I have a assignment problem for you. Homework problem. You just solve these problems in a notes. I have given only pause the video and write this problem in the notes. So you have to solve these two problems in a notes, and this will be the last question in this method. In the next class I will continue with the next new concept. Fine. Now let me solve this. Find the real root of equation x e power of x minus 2 is equal to 0 using secant method, and I have to perform 3 iterations. Fine. Now in this problem initial condition is not given to us. So as usual, first step, let me take f of x as x into e power of x minus 2. Fine. Now clearly initial condition, that is x0 and x1 is not given. We have to find by giving the values of x is equal to 0, minimum value. So f of 0 will become 0 into anything will be 0 minus 2. So you will get minus 2, anyhow it is negative. Let me find x is equal to 1. F of 1 is equal to 1 into e power of 1 minus 2. So as I already told you, e power of 1 will be calculated as press shift, press ln button 1. So that will give us e power of 1 minus 2. So that will give us 0.718. 0.718, anyhow it is positive. So let me stop here. Now I can write x0 as 0 and x1 as 1. I'm writing it directly. Now write on the formula, Newton-Raphson formula, what it is. Xn plus 1 is equal to xn minus xn minus 1 divided by f of xn minus f of xn minus 1 into f of xn. So this is what the formula for Newton-Raphson method is. Now let me do first iteration. So for the first iteration, the value of n is equal to 1. Substitute n is equal to 1. You will get x2 is equal to x1 minus x0 divided by f of x1 minus f of x0 into f of x1. Clear? Now I have to solve. I have the value of x1 and x0. I have to find f of x1. Right? F of x1 in the sense f of 1 value. It is already solved. F of 1 value is 0.7182. Clear? And f of x0 value have to do f of x0 in the sense f of 0 value. That is 0 into anything will be 0, right? So minus 2. That will give you minus 2. So f of x0 value also I have. Now let me simplify. With this, x2 is equal to x1 is 1. Minus 1 minus x0 is 0. F of x1 is 0.7182 minus f of x0 is minus of minus will become plus 2. Again into f of x1 in the sense 0.7182. Now let me simplify. 1 minus 0 is 1. So 1 into this value as it is 0.7182 divided by this value 0.7182 plus 2. Close the bracket. You will get this. You have to subtract it from 1. That will give us 0.73578. Anyhow, let me keep. So x2 value I have obtained. Now for the second iteration, I have to give the value of n as 2. So replace n with 2 in the formula. You will get x3 is equal to x2 minus x1 divided by f of x2 minus f of x1. Fine. Now let me replace x2 value we have and x1 value also we have. What we have to find is f of x1 is also known to us, 0.7182. Let me find f of x2 value in the sense f of 0.7357 I have to find. So let me simplify. X is 0.7357. In this one I am going to substitute. Find exponential. Shift ln 0.7357 minus 2. So that will give us minus 0.46463. Fine. Now let me substitute all these in x3. So you will get x3 is equal to x2 is 0.7357 minus into f of x2. I have forgot this one. So let me simplify here only. X3 is equal to, the value of x2 is 0.7357 minus 0.7357 minus x1 value is 1 divided by f of x2 is minus 0.46463 minus f of x1 is 0.7182 into again f of x2 is minus 0.46463. Now coming to the simplification part. First let me simplify this. 0.7357 minus 1 divided by minus 0.46463 minus 0.7182 close bracket. That will give us this into minus 0.46463. I have to subtract this from 0.7357 minus answer. So that will give us 0.83946. So that is the value of x3. Now we have to perform third iteration. So for the third iteration n is equal to 3. Substitute n is equal to 3 in the formula. You will get x4 is equal to x3 minus x2 divided by f of x3 minus f of x2 into f of x3. Anyhow x3 I have, f of x3 I have to calculate, f of x2 also I have. So let me make a note. F of x2 is minus 0.46463. f of x3 in the sense f of 0.83946 I have to calculate. First let me calculate this value. 83946 shift exponential 0.83946 shift ln 0.83946 minus 2. So that will give us minus 0.05655. Clear? Now let me substitute all these values in x4. So you are going to get x4 is equal to x3 is 0.83946 minus x3 is again 0.83946 minus x2 is 0.7357 divided by f of x3 is minus 0.05655 minus f of x2 is minus of minus will become plus 0.46463 into f of x3 is minus 0.05655. Clear? Now let me simplify this. First let me simplify numerator. 0.83946 minus 0.7357 divided by minus 0.05655 plus 0.46463 into open bracket minus 0.05655. So I have to subtract everything from 0.83946 minus answer. That will give us x4 is equal to 0.8538. Is this clear? So I am going to stop here itself. Why? Because I have to find up to 3 iteration. So at the third iteration I obtained this solution. Therefore I can write the required solution is this one. Clear? Procedure is same, but you have to know the calculation. Hope so it is clear. This completes secant method. Thank you. Continue in the next session.